Stop begging for respect. Stop chasing approval. Stop explaining your worth to people who have already decided not to see it. The moment you start begging for respect, you lose a piece of yourself. Respect is not something you demand. Respect is not something you force. Respect is something you earn, quietly, consistently, relentlessly. And sometimes the loudest statement you can make is silence. Life has a way of testing your character. People will doubt you. They will overlook you. They will question your value while benefiting from your presence. That pain can make you angry. It can make you want to prove yourself to everyone. But understand this: your purpose is bigger than their opinion. Your calling is greater than their criticism. The strongest people are not the ones who spend their lives convincing others of their greatness. The strongest people are the ones who keep working when nobody is watching. They keep building when nobody is clapping. They keep believing when nobody else does. That is where true respect is born. People can ignore your words. They can dismiss your promises. They can doubt your intentions. They can laugh at your dreams. But there is one thing they cannot deny. Results have a language that every person understands. Results do not argue. Results do not complain. Results do not seek permission. They simply speak for themselves. Too many people spend their lives trying to convince others of their value. They talk about what they are going to do. They talk about their plans. They talk about their potential. They talk about their future. But talking is easy. Anybody can make promises. Anybody can make announcements. Anybody can say they are committed. The real question is this: what are you doing when nobody is watching? What are you doing when the excitement fades? What are you doing when the applause disappears? Because character is not built in public. Character is built in private. It is built in those early mornings when your alarm clock goes off and every part of you wants to stay in bed. It is built in those late nights when everyone else is relaxing, but you are still working on your craft. It is built in the moments when quitting feels easier than continuing. Those are the moments that define you, not the speeches, not the social media posts, not the attention, the work, the sacrifice, the consistency. That is where respect comes from. The truth is, the world does not owe you respect. Respect is not a gift. Respect is earned. It is earned through discipline. It is earned through reliability. It is earned through integrity. When people know that your word means something, respect follows. When people know they can count on you, respect follows. When people see that you continue moving forward, no matter how difficult the road becomes, respect follows. You do not have to chase it. You do not have to demand it. You do not have to beg for it. You become it. And once you become it, nobody can take it away. There will be times when your effort feels invisible, times when nobody notices your sacrifices, times when it feels like your hard work is producing no reward. Keep going, keep going, keep going, because every disciplined action is making a deposit into your future. Every early morning, every extra hour, every difficult choice, every temptation you refuse, every excuse you overcome, every moment you refuse to quit, those moments matter. More than you realize, success is not built in a single day. Greatness is not created in a single moment. Respect is earned one decision at a time, one disciplined action at a time, one courageous step at a time. Many people want the reward, few people want the process. Many people want recognition, few people want responsibility. Many people want respect, few people are willing to earn it. Be one of the few. Be the person who keeps showing up. Be the person who keeps learning. Be the person who keeps improving. Be the person who keeps their promises even when nobody would know if they broke them. Because that is where true power lives, not in what you say, in what you do. The strongest individuals are not always the loudest people in the room. Often they are the quietest, they are focused, they are disciplined, they are locked in on their mission. While others are talking, they are working. While others are complaining, they are improving. While others are making excuses, they are finding solutions. And over time, the gap begins to grow. The gap between those who talk and those who act. The gap between those who wish and those who work. The gap between those who dream and those who execute. Eventually, people begin to notice, not because you demanded attention, but because excellence is impossible to ignore forever. Remember this: you do not earn respect by telling people who you are. You earn respect by showing them. Again and again, day after day, month after month, year after year, through adversity, through setbacks, through failures, through victories. You keep showing up, you keep building, you keep growing. And one day, without saying a word, your actions will tell a story so powerful that no criticism can silence it, no doubt can challenge it, and no obstacle can stop it. Because respect was never meant to be requested, it was meant to be earned through action, through discipline, through consistency, through the relentless decision to become the person you were created to be. Not every attack deserves a response. Not every insult deserves your attention. Not every misunderstanding needs an explanation. And not every battle is worth your energy. One of the greatest lessons you will ever learn in life is this: silence is not weakness, silence is power. Silence is discipline, silence is control. Anyone can react, anyone can lose their temper, anyone can let emotions take over and say something they will later regret. But it takes strength to stay calm when provoked. It takes maturity to remain focused when people are trying to distract you. It takes wisdom to know that your peace is more valuable than winning an argument. Too many people waste their lives responding to every criticism, every opinion, every rumor, every negative comment. They spend so much time defending themselves that they forget to improve themselves. And while they are busy fighting battles that do not matter, life keeps moving, opportunities pass, dreams wait, purpose gets delayed. All because they allowed distractions to steal their focus. Do not make that mistake, understand this. Every time you respond to negativity, you give it power. Every time you argue with someone determined to misunderstand you, you waste precious energy. Every time you chase approval from people who have already made up their minds, you lose valuable time that could have been invested in your growth. Sometimes the strongest response is no response. Sometimes the strongest statement is silence, because silence sends a message. It says, I know who I am. It says, I do not need your validation. It says, my purpose is bigger than this moment. The world is full of noise. Everybody wants attention. Everybody wants recognition. Everybody wants to be heard. People argue online. People compete for approval. People constantly try to prove themselves to strangers. And in the middle of all that noise, very few people are actually moving forward. Very few people are building something meaningful. Very few people are focused on their mission. That is why silence creates an advantage. While others are talking, you can be working. While others are arguing, you can be learning. While others are complaining, you can be growing. While others are distracted, you can be becoming. And that difference changes everything. Think about the strongest individuals you know, the most respected leaders, the most successful people, the people who command a room without even speaking. What makes them powerful? It is not volume, it is presence, it is confidence, it is self-control. They do not feel the need to explain themselves to everyone. They do not spend their days proving their worth. They understand that true confidence is quiet. Insecurity is loud. Confidence does not need permission. Confidence does not need applause. Confidence simply keeps moving forward. There will be people who doubt you. Let them doubt. There will be people who criticize you. Let them criticize. There will be people who misunderstand your intentions. Let them misunderstand. Not because their opinions do not matter, but because your purpose matters more. You cannot spend your life carrying the weight of everyone's perception. You cannot control what people think. You cannot control what people say. You cannot control what stories they create about you. But you can control your focus. You can control your effort. You can control your response. And sometimes the most powerful response is none at all. Because every minute spent defending yourself is a minute not spent building yourself. Every hour spent arguing is an hour not spent improving. Every day spent chasing validation is a day not spent pursuing greatness. Protect your energy. Protect your focus. Protect your peace. Those things are too valuable to waste. Life is already challenging enough. You already have mountains to climb, goals to achieve, dreams to pursue. Why carry unnecessary battles on your shoulders? Why allow negativity to live rent-free in your mind? Why let criticism occupy space that belongs to your vision? Let it go or let it. Move forward. Remember this. People will always have something to say. When you fail, they will talk. When you succeed, they will talk. When you struggle, they will talk. When you rise, they will talk. The talking never stops. So stop building your life around the opinions of others. Build your life around your purpose. Build your life around your values. Build your life around your calling. And trust that the truth has a way of revealing itself over time. You do not need to announce your greatness. You do not need to defend your journey. You do not need to convince everyone of your potential. Your actions will do that. Your consistency will do that. Your results will do that. The people who doubted you will eventually see. The people who questioned you will eventually understand. The people who underestimated you will eventually recognize what was there all along. Not because you argued, not because you complained, not because you demanded respect, but because you stayed focused, you stayed disciplined, you stayed committed. While everyone else was distracted by noise, you were building something real. That is the power of silence. Silence allows you to think clearly. Silence allows you to hear your inner voice. Silence allows you to hear God's direction when the world is trying to confuse you. Silence creates space for wisdom. Silence creates space for growth. Silence creates space for purpose. So the next time someone attacks you, pause. The next time someone insults you, pause. The next time someone misunderstands you, pause. Ask yourself one question: will responding move me closer to my purpose? If the answer is no, let it go. Stay quiet, stay disciplined, stay focused, stay locked in. Keep working when nobody sees. Keep growing when nobody notices. Keep believing when nobody understands. And let your success answer the questions they keep asking. Let your character answer the accusations they keep making. Let your growth answer the doubts they keep repeating. Because in the end, your greatest response will never be your words. Your greatest response will be the life you build. There will be moments when people disrespect you. Moments when they overlook your value. Moments when they question your worth. Moments when they fail to recognize the sacrifices you have made. And if you are not careful, those moments can leave scars not on your body, but on your spirit, because sometimes the deepest pain is not physical. Sometimes the deepest pain comes from feeling invisible, from giving your best and receiving nothing in return, from showing loyalty and being betrayed, from working hard and watching someone else get the credit, from believing in people who never believed in you. Those moments hurt. They hurt more than most people will ever understand. But hear this clearly. Do not let bitterness grow inside you. Do not let disappointment become your identity. Do not allow resentment to poison your future, because pain has two paths. One path leads to destruction, the other path leads to growth, and every person must decide which path they will take. Pain can make you bitter, or pain can make you better. The choice belongs to you. Many people spend years trapped in the prison of their past. They replay the betrayal, they replay the rejection, they replay the failure, again and again, day after day, year after year, and without realizing it, they give their pain control over their future. Do not be that person. Your pain was never meant to own you. Your pain was meant to teach you. Your struggle was never meant to stop you. Your struggle was meant to strengthen you. Think about the strongest people you know. Think about the people whose character inspires others, the people whose wisdom changes lives, the people whose presence commands respect. Most of them were not built during easy seasons. Most of them were shaped by hardship. They were shaped by failure. They were shaped by disappointment. They were shaped by loss, because comfort rarely creates greatness, pressure does. Pressure reveals who you really are. Pressure forces growth. Pressure develops strength that comfort never could. A diamond is formed under pressure. Steel is forged in fire, and character is built through adversity. That is why you must learn to use your pain. Use the disappointment, use the rejection, use the criticism, use every setback as fuel. Every time someone says you cannot do it, use it. Every time someone doubts you, use it. Every time life knocks you down, use it not as an excuse, as motivation, not as a reason to quit, as a reason to push harder, because the same pain that breaks one person can build another. The same storm that destroys one dream can strengthen another. The difference is not the pain, the difference is the response. Some people allow hardship to define them. Others allow hardship to develop them. Choose development, choose growth, choose strength. There will be days when you feel exhausted, days when the burden feels heavy, days when you question whether the struggle is worth it. Keep going, keep believing, keep moving forward, because every challenge is teaching you something. Every setback contains a lesson. Every obstacle contains an opportunity. You may not see it today, you may not understand it tomorrow, but one day you will look back and realize that the very thing you wanted removed from your life was actually preparing you for your next level. The rejection taught you independence. The failure taught you humility. The disappointment taught you wisdom. The hardship taught you resilience, and resilience is priceless, because life will never be free from challenges. New levels bring new struggles. New opportunities bring new responsibilities. New blessings bring new tests. The question is not whether difficulties will come. The question is whether you will be ready when they arrive, and every difficult season is preparing you, preparing your mind, preparing your character, preparing your spirit. There is a strength that only pain can produce, a wisdom that only struggle can teach, a maturity that only adversity can develop. That is why you cannot waste your suffering. Learn from it, grow through it, become stronger because of it. Do not spend your energy asking, why did this happen to me? Instead ask, what is this teaching me? That question changes everything. Victims ask why, leaders ask what. Victims focus on the pain. Victims stay trapped in resentment. Leaders move forward with wisdom. Choose wisdom, choose growth, choose the lesson. Because holding on to bitterness does not hurt the people who wronged you, it hurts you. Resentment steals your peace. Resentment steals your focus. Resentment steals your future. Let it go. Release the anger. Release the need for revenge. Release the need for validation. And focus on becoming stronger. Focus on becoming wiser. Focus on becoming the person this struggle is shaping you into. Remember this, some of the greatest chapters of your life will begin after the most painful seasons. Some of your greatest breakthroughs will come after your greatest disappointments. Some of your greatest victories will rise from your deepest wounds, not because the pain was good, but because you chose to grow through it. You chose faith over fear. You chose purpose over pain. You chose resilience over surrender. And that decision changes everything. So when life becomes difficult, stand firm. When rejection comes, stand firm. When disappointment arrives, stand firm. When the world overlooks you, stand firm. Do not allow temporary pain to create permanent bitterness. Allow it to create permanent strength. Allow it to build your character. Allow it to deepen your faith. Allow it to sharpen your purpose. Because one day, the very struggle that almost broke you will become the story that inspires someone else to keep going. And when that day comes, you will understand something powerful. The pain was not sent to destroy you. It was sent to develop you. It was shaping your character all along. Motivation comes and goes. Feelings come and go. Excitement comes and goes. But discipline remains. That is the difference between people who dream and people who achieve. That is the difference between people who start and people who finish. That is the difference between those who talk about success and those who actually earn it. Too many people wait until they feel motivated. They wait until they feel inspired. They wait until the conditions are perfect. They wait until everything feels right. And while they are waiting, life keeps moving, opportunities pass, time disappears, potential remains unrealized because motivation is unreliable. Some mornings you will wake up inspired. Some mornings you will wake up tired. Some days you will feel unstoppable. Some days you will feel defeated. Some days you will feel confident. Some days you will question everything. That is life. That is being human. But discipline does not ask how you feel. Discipline asks what needs to be done. And then it does it, whether you feel like it or not. That is power. Real power is not controlling others. Real power is controlling yourself. It is waking up and doing the work when every excuse tells you not to. It is remaining committed when the excitement is gone. It is staying focused when distractions are everywhere. It is showing up when nobody would blame you for staying home. That is discipline. And discipline creates respect, not because people admire perfection, but because people admire consistency. Anybody can perform when circumstances are favorable. Anybody can work hard for one day. Anybody can stay committed for 1 week. Anybody can stay focused when everything is going their way. But what happens when life gets difficult? What happens when progress slows down? What happens when the results do not appear as quickly as you expected? That is where discipline separates people, because champions continue when others quit. Champions stay faithful when others become frustrated. Champions keep moving when others stop. Not because they have fewer problems, not because they have more talent, but because they have built habits stronger than their emotions. Understand that success is not built on your best days. Success is built on your worst days. It is built on the days when you are tired, the days when you are discouraged, the days when you feel like giving up, the days when nobody is cheering for you, the days when nobody notices your effort. Those are the days that matter most, because every time you choose discipline over excuses, you become stronger. Every time you choose responsibility over comfort, you grow. Every time you choose action over procrastination, you move closer to your purpose. Small decisions create big outcomes. One disciplined day may not seem important. One disciplined week may not seem significant. One disciplined month may not appear life-changing. But discipline compounds day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And eventually what seems small becomes extraordinary. People often look at successful individuals and wonder how they got there. They see the achievement, they see the recognition, they see the reward, but they do not see the discipline. They do not see the sacrifices. They do not see the early mornings. They do not see the lonely nights. They do not see the countless moments when quitting would have been easier. Success is rarely built in front of a crowd. It is built in private. It is built when nobody is watching. It is built when nobody is applauding. It is built when nobody knows the sacrifices being made. That is why discipline is so powerful. It develops character long before it produces results. And character is what sustains success. Anyone can reach a goal, not everyone can maintain it. Anyone can have a good day, not everyone can build a good life. Discipline is what turns temporary victories into lasting success. Discipline is what turns potential into performance. Discipline is what transforms dreams into reality. The world is full of talented people who never fulfilled their purpose. Talented people who never reached their potential. Talented people who allowed comfort to become their enemy. Talent alone is not enough. Potential alone is not enough. Dreams alone are not enough. You need discipline. Because discipline bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. There will be moments when nobody is holding you accountable. Moments when you could cut corners. Moments when you could settle for less. Moments when nobody would know if you gave less than your best. Those moments reveal who you really are, because integrity is doing the right thing when nobody is watching, and discipline is continuing to do it repeatedly, not once, not twice every day. Consistency is what earns respect, not promises, not intentions, not excuses. Consistency. People respect the person who shows up. People respect the person who keeps their word. People respect the person who remains committed through adversity. People respect the person who continues moving forward despite obstacles, because consistency proves something important. It proves that your commitment is real. Anyone can be committed when it is convenient. True commitment shows itself when it is inconvenient. When you are tired, when you are stressed, when you are disappointed, when progress feels slow, that is when discipline becomes visible. That is when character becomes visible. That is when greatness begins to emerge. So stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting to feel ready. Take action now. Do the work now. Build the habit now. Remain faithful now. The person you want to become is created through daily discipline, not dramatic moments, not lucky breaks, not overnight success. Daily discipline, the discipline to keep learning, the discipline to keep growing, the discipline to keep believing, the discipline to keep showing up again and again, day after day, month after month, year after year, because in the end, the world does not respect excuses. The world does not reward potential. The world responds to consistency. And consistency is the evidence of discipline, when your actions match your words, when your commitment survives difficulty, when your standards remain high even when nobody is watching. That is when respect is earned. That is when character is built. That is when greatness becomes inevitable, because discipline is more than a habit. Discipline is proof that your commitment is real. Sometimes you wonder why your efforts are not being noticed, why your sacrifices seem invisible, why you keep giving your best yet the results seem so far away. You work hard, you stay faithful, you remain committed, yet it feels like nothing is changing. Meanwhile, you watch others move ahead. You see others receiving opportunities. You see others being recognized. You see others celebrating victories while you are still fighting battles nobody knows about. And if you are not careful, comparison can begin to steal your peace. Doubt can begin to weaken your faith. Frustration can begin to cloud your vision. But hear this clearly. Do not confuse delay with denial. Just because something has not happened yet does not mean it will never happen. Just because the answer has not arrived does not mean God is not working. Sometimes the greatest work is happening behind the scenes. Sometimes the greatest blessings are being prepared in places you cannot see. And sometimes the very thing you are praying for requires preparation before it can be trusted to your hands. That is why patience is so important. Not passive patience, not lazy patience. Purposeful patience, the kind of patience that keeps working while waiting. The kind of patience that keeps believing while struggling. The kind of patience that keeps moving forward, even when there is no evidence that progress is being made. Because faith is not believing after you see the results. Faith is believing before the results appear. Anyone can believe when the harvest is visible. Anyone can trust when the blessing has arrived. But can you trust during the waiting season? Can you trust when the road is unclear? Can you trust when the answers are delayed? That is where faith becomes real. Think about a seed. When a seed is planted in the ground, nothing seems to happen at first. Days pass, weeks pass, sometimes even months pass. And from the outside, it appears as though nothing is growing. But beneath the surface, something important is happening. Roots are developing, strength is forming, a foundation is being built, the growth is invisible. Yet it is absolutely necessary. Because without strong roots, the tree cannot survive future storms. The same is true in your life. God often develops your roots before He reveals your fruit. He works on your character before He expands your influence. He strengthens your spirit before He increases your responsibility. Because blessings without preparation can become burdens. Success without character can become destruction. Growth without wisdom can become dangerous. So while you are waiting, understand that preparation is taking place. You may not see it, you may not understand it, but it is happening. Every challenge is preparing you. Every delay is teaching you. Every obstacle is strengthening you. Nothing is wasted. Not the struggle, not the disappointment, not the waiting, not the pain. God has a way of using every season for a greater purpose. There are seasons in life, a season of preparation, a season of testing, a season of growth, and eventually a season of reward. The problem is that many people quit during the preparation season because they are focused only on the reward. They abandon their purpose because progress feels slow. They stop believing because results are delayed. They walk away just before the breakthrough arrives. Do not make that mistake. Stay faithful, stay focused, stay committed. The process may be slow, but slow does not mean stagnant. Slow does not mean failure. Slow does not mean forgotten. Sometimes slow growth creates lasting strength. A strong foundation takes time. A strong character takes time. A strong life takes time. Anything built too quickly can collapse just as quickly, but what God builds with purpose can endure. There will be moments when you feel discouraged. Moments when you question whether your efforts matter. Moments when you wonder if anyone notices your sacrifices. Remember this: God sees what others overlook. God notices what others ignore. God understands every tear, every struggle, every act of obedience, every sacrifice made in silence. Nothing escapes His attention. Nothing is forgotten. Nothing is waste. Even when people fail to recognize your effort, heaven sees it. Even when the world overlooks your faithfulness, heaven records it. Even when nobody applauds your discipline, heaven knows your heart. That should give you strength. Because your purpose was never meant to depend on human approval. Your purpose was meant to be guided by divine direction. Trust the process, trust the preparation, trust the timing. Not because life is always easy, not because everything makes sense, but because God sees the entire picture while you only see a single moment. You see today's struggle, He sees tomorrow's breakthrough. You see today's disappointment, He sees tomorrow's opportunity. You see today's obstacle, He sees tomorrow's victory. That is why faith requires trust. Trust when you understand, trust when you do not. Trust when the doors open, trust when the doors remain closed. Trust when prayers are answered immediately. Trust when answers take longer than expected, because timing matters. The right blessing at the wrong time can create problems. The right opportunity at the wrong time can create pressure. The right success at the wrong time can destroy unprepared character. God's timing is not random. It is purposeful. It is precise. And while you wait, keep growing, keep learning, keep improving, keep serving, keep believing, keep becoming the person you are called to be. Do not spend your energy complaining about what has not happened. Invest your energy preparing for what is coming. Because when the opportunity arrives, you must be ready. When the blessing arrives, you must be prepared. When the door opens, you must have the character to walk through it. And one day, you will look back and understand. You will understand why certain doors remain closed. You will understand why certain prayers took time. You will understand why certain seasons felt so difficult. Because what felt like a delay was actually preparation. What felt like waiting was actually growth. What felt like silence was actually God working behind the scenes. So keep your faith, keep your focus, keep doing what is right, keep moving forward, and never abandon your purpose simply because the process feels slow. The seed that remains faithful underground will eventually break through the surface. And when its season arrives, the harvest will reveal that every moment of waiting was worth it. There comes a moment in every person's life when something changes. A moment when you stop chasing people. A moment when you stop chasing approval. A moment when you stop chasing recognition. And instead, you start chasing growth. You start chasing purpose. You start chasing the best version of yourself. That is the moment everything begins to transform. Because for too long, many people spend their lives searching for validation. They want to be noticed. They want to be praised. They want everyone to recognize their value. And there is nothing wrong with wanting appreciation. The problem begins when your self-worth becomes dependent on it. The problem begins when you need applause to feel valuable. The problem begins when your confidence rises and falls based on other people's opinions. Because opinions change. People change, crowds change. One day they cheer for you, the next day they criticize you. One day they support you, the next day they doubt you. If you build your identity on public opinion, your foundation will always be unstable. That is why true strength must come from within. Your value does not come from what people think about you. Your value does not come from likes, comments, titles, or recognition. Your value comes from who you are when nobody is watching. Who are you in private? Who are you when there is no audience? Who are you when there is no reward? Who are you when there is no applause? Because character is revealed in those moments, not when people are looking. When they are not, anyone can look disciplined when others are watching. Anyone can appear committed when recognition is guaranteed. Anyone can act strong when life is easy. But real character appears in private. Real strength appears in silence. Real greatness is built behind the scenes. The world sees the performance. God sees the preparation. The world sees the success. God sees the sacrifice. The world sees the result. God sees the process. That is why your focus must be on becoming, not appearing. Focus on becoming wiser. Focus on becoming stronger. Focus on becoming more disciplined. Focus on becoming more faithful. Focus on becoming more purposeful. Because when you become the right person, the right opportunities eventually find you. Many people want respect, but they are chasing it the wrong way. They try to impress people. They try to convince people. They try to prove themselves to people who have already decided not to understand them. And in doing so, they waste valuable energy. Stop. trying to prove your worth to everyone. Instead, invest that energy in your growth, invest it in your discipline, invest it in your purpose, invest it in your future. Because growth speaks louder than explanations. Character speaks louder than arguments. Results speak louder than promises. And over time, people begin to notice, not because you demanded attention, but because excellence cannot stay hidden forever. Think about the strongest trees in a forest. Before anyone sees their height, years are spent developing roots. The growth beneath the surface comes first. The visible growth comes later. The same principle applies to your life. Build your roots, build your foundation, build your character, build your faith, build your discipline, build your integrity. These things may not bring immediate recognition, but they create lasting strength. And lasting strength always outlives temporary attention. There will be seasons when nobody notices your effort. Keep building. There will be seasons when your sacrifices go unseen. Keep building. There will be seasons when others receive recognition before you. Keep building. Because your mission is not to compete with others. Your mission is to become better than you were yesterday. Growth is the goal. Progress is the goal. Purpose is the goal. The opinions of others are distractions if they pull you away from that mission. Become so focused on improvement that criticism loses its power. Become so focused on your purpose that comparison loses its grip. Become so focused on your calling that validation becomes unnecessary. Because when you truly know who you are, you no longer need constant reminders from others. Confidence grows, peace grows, strength grows, and something remarkable begins to happen. You stop seeking respect. You start embodying it. You stop demanding recognition. You start deserving it. You stop announcing your greatness. You start demonstrating it. And there is a huge difference. Anyone can make claims. Anyone can make promises. Anyone can create an image. But not everyone can build a life that reflects integrity. Not everyone can maintain discipline when life becomes difficult. Not everyone can remain faithful during adversity. That is why character is so rare, and that is why character is so respected. People may ignore your words, but they cannot ignore consistency. People may question your intentions, but they cannot question results. People may doubt your vision, but they cannot deny what persistence produces over time. So let your actions speak. Let your discipline speak. Let your faith speak. Let your consistency speak. Let your integrity speak. Because those things create a reputation that no criticism can destroy. Remember this, the strongest people are often the quietest, not because they have nothing to say, but because they have nothing to prove. They understand that real confidence does not need constant attention. Real confidence is secure. Real confidence is grounded. Real confidence is focused. And focus is powerful. When you stop chasing approval, you gain freedom. Freedom to grow, freedom to learn, freedom to fail, freedom to improve, freedom to become exactly who you were created to be. That freedom changes everything, because now your energy is no longer spent seeking validation. It is spent building value. It is spent creating impact. It is spent fulfilling purpose. And purpose has a way of attracting what you once chased, the respect you wanted, the recognition you desired, the opportunities you hoped for, the influence you dreamed about. They begin to arrive naturally, not because you demanded them, not because you begged for them, but because you became the kind of person who earned them. So keep building, keep growing, keep believing, keep working, keep becoming. Build your character when nobody sees. Build your faith when life becomes difficult. Build your discipline when motivation disappears. Build your purpose when the road feels uncertain. And one day you will realize something powerful. The respect you spent years chasing was never supposed to be pursued. It was supposed to be earned. And because you chose growth over approval, because you chose character over attention, because you chose purpose over popularity, the respect you were chasing will no longer be running away from you. It will come looking for you.